absolutely proven that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were selling America, selling American secrets or whatever the they were doing favors. I don't even know what the allegations are because I've tried I've tried to figure out what the specific allegations are, but they kind of shift and morph as time goes on. That is actually insane. That is crazy. There is no way. I cannot imagine nobody like stopped at the meeting where that was pitched and said, hey guys, now I don't want to be like a stick in the mud here, but could this be considered defamation? You haven't proved that Biden is a bad guy. And using Russia and China as comparisons, you're saying Russia and China aren't the ones doing XYZ. Meanwhile, their entire state identity is built around censorship. Their entire national identity is having that deep state, having a literal oligarchies. Biden isn't a good guy just because they're bad guys, and you don't have to believe that Biden is a good guy. But to compare the two is the most batshit, crazy, stupid, low IQ, baboon brain, stupid shit I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm super interested to see about this because the Hunter Biden legal team is threatening to sue Fox News if they don't issue a retraction for their coverage of the Hunter Biden, investigations. And the reason that they have a case is because, and it'd be nice. Let's see if we can find one that's not from someone that's so unbelievably biased, because I know Brian Taylor Cohen super is. Hunter Biden Fox lawsuit. A short, please.
Tonight, a very public demand from lawyers for President Biden's son. Hunter Biden's legal team is telling Fox to take down or stamp editor's notes on a raft of stories that relied on the allegations of a now indicted FBI informant.
Yeah, literally, the reason that they have a case here, if you didn't already know, is because Hunter Biden, they have all of these allegations that they've tried to prove over and over and over in the investigative probe from Congress, all of these independent investigators, all these different things. They have, all these people that they've brought into Congress to testify against Hunter Biden and to prove that he's done these crimes and link it to Joe Biden. But at the end of the day, what's happened? Nothing. Why? Because every single major source of intel that they had about these allegations has been shown to be actual foreign agents from Russia and China, respectively. The one from China was like a double whammy arms dealer for Iran and China. Don't know exactly what his job was. I just think it's really funny that this guy was a foreign agent moving weapons between Iran and China on the government's behalf. And the Republicans were trying to use that person as, real legitimate source to prove that Biden has been doing something bad. The next guy, a literal Russian agent, a guy working for the Russian government who is now under arrest for lying to the FBI. So there is no proof to any of the allegations, and Fox has been the biggest purveyor of pushing out every single claim that they made, saying that's absolutely true, saying that's absolutely proven that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were selling America, selling American secrets or whatever the they were doing favors. I don't even know what the allegations are because I've tried to figure out what the specific allegations are, but they kind of shift and morph as time goes on.
They're saying it's defamation and that Fox knows it. They also want the network to remove a fictionalized series about Hunter.
Wait, hold on. Sorry. Kick chat. Russia and China aren't the ones running the deep state regime, censoring people on social media and using a fascistic US dollar Keynesian fiat regime causing us so much debt. Russia and China aren't running a deep state regime censoring people on social media? I'm sorry. That is, I'm actually at a loss for words. I am at a loss for words. Biden isn't a good guy just because they are bad guys. You haven't proved that Biden is a bad guy. And using Russia and China as comparisons, you're saying Russia and China aren't the ones doing XYZ. Meanwhile, their entire state identity is built around censorship. Their entire national identity is having that deep state, having literal oligarchies. Biden isn't a good guy just because they're bad guys, and you don't have to believe that Biden is a good guy. But to compare the two is the most batshit crazy, stupid, low IQ, baboon brain, stupid shit I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm sorry. You actually have to have a subhumanly low IQ to think that Biden is nearly even in the same league in Uncle Sam's Monopoly over the dollar. Yeah, let's just have I can see that you have found your new autistic hyperfixation political topic that is end the fiat currency, end US dollar hegemony, even though you really love the US ostensibly and you want the US to be, the most powerful nation on the earth, but you also don't want them to have literally any of the means by which a country has that kind of power. You're a bundle. You're a bundle of contradictory beliefs. Biden is not as bad as Xi and Putin to an extent. 1 second. I love the nation. Hate the regime. Cool. One of the major Republican Twitter accounts was run by Russians. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's the sad thing is that the Republican Party, in terms of the people that are hardcore Trump supporters, have the Republican Party has been captured by Russian propaganda in the same way that lefties have been captured by Russian propaganda. It's depressing.
Hunter Biden that has featured sexually explicit images that Biden says were private, according to a letter obtained by CNN. Now, it's a very public step that accuses the network of breaking state laws against revenge porn. Joining me now is Tina Gladanian. She is an attorney at Garagos and Garagos, whom Mr. Biden is now hired to handle this Fox case. Defamation, when it comes to a news organization, is typically really difficult in our court system, and for good reason. Why do you think this one will be successful?
So this is not your typical defamation case. This is actually, if you read the letter carefully, it's more of a conspiracy to defame and paint in a false light. And why that's significant is when it's a conspiracy case, that actually eliminates a lot of the classic defenses something like a media organization would have against defamation claims. So that's what definitely sets this apart from other cases. And this is
Well, I'm so curious, as someone that is not a lawyer, would defamation not be a possible suit that they could bring?
obviously so much more than just a conspiracy to defame. As you just mentioned, there's the fictionalized docuseries that Fox Nation has created and produced just for entertainment value. There's absolutely no newsworthy purpose to this.
I wondered about that, though. I mean, if it is fictionalized, we all agree, you agree, they agree, and they have all the disclaimers saying this is not real, this is essentially made up. I mean, because some of the things are literally made up.
Wait, hold on. Let me go back. Sorry, I got triggered by Panda Man again.
For entertainment value, there's absolutely would have against defamation claims. And why that's significant is when it's a conspiracy case, that actually eliminates a lot of the classic defenses something like a media organization would have against defamation claims. So that's what definitely sets this apart from other cases. And this is obviously so much more than just a conspiracy to defame. As you just mentioned, there's the fictionalized docuseries that Fox Nation has created and produced just for entertainment value. There's absolutely no newsworthy purpose to this.
I wondered about that, though. I mean, if it is fictionalized, we all agree, you agree, they agree, and they have all the disclaimers saying this is not real, this is essentially made up. I mean, because some of the things are literally made up. Isn't it just...
Wait, I'm so sorry. Are they saying that there is a fictionalized... Did Fox News make a fictionalized Hunter Biden docuseries. Has put on a 6-part series in which it staged a mock trial of hypothetical criminal charges against Hunter Biden, which was first posted on the cable network's right-wing streaming service back in October of 2022, where it was removed only a day after Biden's legal team publicly made its threat. Biden says the network defamed him, among other accusations. We are reviewing the concerns that have just been raised, and out of an abundance of caution in the interim, have taken it down. What was the title? That's insane. It's insane to the degree that, like, if CNN put out a fictionalized because January 6th actually has evidence that's in the indictment. The indictment has evidence. If CNN had put out a fictionalized docuseries about, like, the Trump tapes, the Golden Shower gate shit, and him being a Russian stooge, I would have the same criticism. That's insane. I bet if you watched it on stream, you would get DMCA'd. Yeah, I'm not going to watch it on stream. It's 6-part docuseries, probably an hour each episode. But, like, bro, that is unhinged. How the can you whose idea was it to take fake allegations, and then turn those fake allegations into a fake trial that's never going to happen and think nothing bad's going to happen, when this obviously has an effect on the current political climate? That is unhinged. What the I've never heard of this. I am so curious to see Trump is no Russian stooge, and Russia, again, isn't running the American regime. Their governor, but Uncle Sam isn't an angel to our people. I understand that Trump is no literal Russian stooge. And I don't think that I've ever made that claim, even back when I was like a super big lefty. Because I understand what the reality is of what the Mueller report and all of that shit said. I'm sorry, Front Yard Shield. Unless you, like, learn to, like, have media literacy and, like, for as much philosophy as you listen to and read and all of that stuff, as much as you fetishize intelligence, you apply none of the stuff that you've read or learned. You apply none of it, because you are as much of a partisan hack as Vosh. You are as much of a partisan hack as David Pakman or IRI. Like, they're partisan hacks on one side and you're a partisan hack on the other. It is so easy to look at information and, based off of your prior knowledge of factual information, to extrapolate and say this is either likely or unlikely. This is insane, bro. Is that Steve Bannon behind him? Sorry.
Art, I put that in quotes, but sure. Essentially.
No, because so you have pure fact, which would be protected, and you also have pure fiction that might be protected. But this is a very bizarre kind of marriage of the two. So it's basically blending in fact and fiction in a way that doesn't allow viewers to decipher what really is fact and what's fiction. So if you watch the docuseries, you see some real life characters from kind of this, whether you want to call it the laptop saga, but these events that are actually occurring. And they play themselves, they act as themselves as witnesses in the docuseries. So even though there's a disclaimer at the outset, you then see these real individuals portraying themselves. You see actual images of both Hunter Biden, the president, and other individuals that are involved with them. You see actual emails. And so they present a lot of factual information, but they distort it and they don't give the appropriate context. And then they have, fictionalized dialogue surrounding it. So for an average viewer, it's really impossible to know what is fact and what's fiction. And that is very harmful, because then the portrayal is perceived to be true, even though it's not.
Was it a mistake, and does it hurt your case, that Hunter Biden's attorneys, not your firm, but the other attorneys involved in this case, claimed that this was the product, that laptop and the information?
I cannot believe that nobody, after the Dominion lawsuit that cost them how much did it cost them? $787 million, almost $1 billion. because of a defamation suit. In 2020, Fox paid millions to the parents of Seth Rich, a slain Democratic Party staffer. How many times do they have to get by blatantly lying about specific people? How many times do they have to get caught doing that before it's over for them? This is crazy.
On it was a product of Russian disinformation. They suggested that it was fake.
Well, and this doesn't actually say anything to contradict that. I mean, I'm not going to comment.
I mean, it purports that these images are real, that the information that comes from the laptop that is in these Fox reports are real.
No, so these are referred to as hacked, stolen, and or digitally manipulated material. So certainly nobody could dispute that when you see these images, it depicts Hunter Biden. Now, the source of that, again, that has no bearing on the fact that Fox Nation is improperly using that to commercially exploit Hunter, both for monetary gain just from the series, but also to humiliate him and, to maliciously injure him by using images which they know are not with his consent.
And just to be clear, and I don't want to belabor this, but for clarity's sake, the position is still that some of these images or information from that laptop is digitally manipulated?
Nothing in our letter takes, the position that we have taken, which is that these images clearly depict Hunter Biden, and they're explicit images. And these are exactly the type of images that the state, almost every state at this point has what has been labeled as revenge porn laws. And New York State enacted these in 2019. There's both a criminal component and a civil component, and it protects exactly this: images depicting an individual that are intimate, sexually explicit without that person's consent, and that's exactly what this is.
So who are the worst offenders, in your view, at Fox, who are responsible for this?
So there was obviously Lev Parnas's congressional testimony last month, and which was really explosive, we thought. And he detailed this BLT team, which included media personalities, and it was in concert with Giuliani and others, to basically spread this false narrative, knowing that it was false. And they would have these meetings. The reason it's titled as the BLT team is they were having these meetings at the BLT Steakhouse at Trump's hotel in D.C. at the time. And these were strategy meetings that they were having there to see how they could spread this information. And one person he said this involved a lot of Fox news personalities, but he named Sean Hannity. So that's one person that Mr. Parnas implicated last month, which was interesting. But part of what this letter really does is it's a preservation demand, so Fox doesn't destroy any of the critical internal communications, emails, text messages, as we saw in Dominion. That's critical to seeing their state of mind, and that they knew what they were doing was wrong and they did it anyway.
There's a retraction demand, but if that is met, are you still leaving open the door that there could be a suit here?
Absolutely.
For monetary damages.
Sure. So the letter, again, includes various different claims. So part of it is the retraction demand. There's the debunked bribery allegations that the indicted Smirnoff was peddling, and now those have been proven to be false. So that's one component of it. We want them to correct the record as to that. We want them to take down the mock trial of Hunter Biden from all streaming platforms. And of course, we're seeking monetary damages.
All right. Tina Gladian, thank you very much for joining me tonight.
That is actually insane. That is crazy. There is no way. I cannot imagine nobody stopped at the meeting where that was pitched and said, hey guys, now I don't want to be like a stick in the mud here, but could this be considered defamation? Well, welcome. For people that are new, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Kick, I'm Sondsol. I am a political science student. I like to talk about politics. I like to argue about politics. We talk about all sorts of fun things on here, like drama and politics. And I like to argue with people in chat about a lot of different things. Like, comment, and subscribe. I don't like to shill. Also,